Hey guys, Akil here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Thank you as always for taking a few minutes out of your day each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to join me as I continue to give you advice and tips and hints and insights on how to become a better trader and hopefully how to become a better entrepreneur and person in general as well. In today's episode, we're actually going to share some expert advice from someone other than myself. It's going to be a trader on our platform who we recently interviewed, who shares some amazing advice for all new traders. So if you are a new trader or a struggling trader, make sure you listen from start to finish because, well, this is something that I wish I heard when I was going through the journey. But in this interview, the trader talks about really the importance of fitting trading around your lifestyle, right? The technique and the strategy is great, but what's more important is your ability to actually execute it. So you want to be able to implement something that doesn't interfere with your normal day-to-day and also doesn't sacrifice other aspects of your life, such as a family. We also talk about the importance of starting with a basic strategy. The trader gives some insights on how he went through the learning process and why he decided to start with something very, very simple and then work his way up from there. And one of the strategies that he talks about is called the daily chore. And it's interesting that we bring this podcast to you now because we actually developed an indicator for this strategy. And in general, the strategy is like this. This is something that Jason Greystone developed. And essentially the goal of trading, right? Trading is a way to accelerate your wealth, right? Trading is a way, it's a way of investment. It's a way that you can produce money without necessarily dedicating time. And the goal of the daily chore was to give you something that you can literally look at once per day and have it still produce the returns that you want, right? And that's the key to trading. We want to, and really the key to entrepreneurship in general is to buy ourselves time. So what we're doing to buy ourselves even more time is creating an indicator for it. So it shows you the signal. No longer do you have to actually go through the charts and kind of do the math and all this stuff for the specifics of the entry. It'll literally show you the signal. It'll show you the stops. It'll show you the targets, and all you have to do is check your charts for maybe 5 minutes a day, and you'll be set to go. And I'm currently trying to break the indicator, meaning that I identify any glitches or anything like that, and back testing the strategy on my own. So this interview really hit home for me. Now, we are going to teach you the daily chore strategy in our upcoming webinar. It's going to be the Ascension webinar happening April 6th through April 9th, 2020. It's a 4-day free online workshop. If you haven't been to one, ask somebody about them. They are awesome. And hopefully I'll have the indicator ready for you so we can even release it then. No promises on that. Depends on what else we find glitch-wise and what else our trading community brings up as far as needing to be tweaked with it. But so far, so good, and hopefully it's available by April 6th. By the way, if you want to sign up for the webinar, you can do so. Just head over to www.tier1trading.com. You can also check the show notes underneath this podcast, and I'm sure to put a link there as well. All right, make sure you listen to this interview from the very beginning to the very end, and I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you guys find it insightful.
How's your week been?
Hectic. Started a new job a couple of weeks back, and kind of drinking from the fire hose with all the stuff going on and trying to catch up. But yeah, really good. And I've also been.
I know why I thought it was your first one. I've got you down as Jez.
Oh yeah, sorry. Depending on whether I've got my work head on or not, it bounces between Jez or Jeremy.
All right, okay, yeah. So Jeremy, just give us I think we spoke. Well, it must have been 6 weeks ago now.
Yes,
something like that. Give us a little update of where you were then and kind of what you set out to do until now.
Sure. Yeah. So 6 weeks ago, I was probably about 6 or 8 weeks into the platform, and what I'd basically done is I'd handed my notice in to change jobs. So when I came onto the call, what I kind of said was I was really going at the content. So the way my mind kind of works, I kind of have to understand stuff, but I kind of have to have good context. So what I'd kind of done is gone through a lot of the content quickly. Well, not quickly. I'd taken it in, so I was doing it, but I wasn't kind of going away and doing all the kind of Akil homework and stuff like that. So I'd do some of it, and then I had kind of a to-do list to go back. So
Yeah.
I'd done all that, and then so I'd got a really good idea. I think one of the things I said on it is everyone kept talking about back testing. I kind of wanted to know what it really meant because I thought that would help me with the understanding. And I did kind of the back testing module and bits probably the week or 2 weeks later, and it really helped me because then I kind of understood what are the kind of information you're going to be capturing when you're looking at stuff. So when I was looking at charts, I'd start to think, if I was going to be capturing an ATR, or whether you had to kind of zoom out a little bit if you were looking for kind of the maximum. So I think it was kind of the right choice. So then the last 6 weeks, what I've been doing is kind of three things really. Firstly, last couple of weeks or week or so, your Tiers of Freedom. So I signed up for that. So I've started doing some of that, and that's probably pulled back a little bit of the tier one stuff because I've got to get that balance. But then what I've done is started reviewing all the content again. So I went through, started to go through foundation and the price action and bits like that, and then started to back test a couple of strategies. So I kind of started with ones that, knowing that I've got a full-time job, I've got 2 kids, stuff like that, I was looking for the sort of fairly straightforward dailies. So I did I really like the Follow the Bear one, but started to back test it and very quickly realized that because you're moving your stops, you do actually need to look at it a lot more during the day than what I'd first thought, because obviously you were getting in on
the hour.
Yeah, so you kind of got in on the daily, which was fine, but then you were kind of having to look to move that stop, and you potentially had to do that day on day on day, and I kind of couldn't commit. So I did sort of a year's back testing on that, and then that's been parked in a file, maybe for the future, because I quite liked the strategy. And then I've obviously pinged you a few times because I've been trying to do the
daily chore.
Yeah, and
just one thing I've just picked up on there when you said about the daily, the FTB Follow the Bears only on the hourly, so you're not actually looking at the daily at all.
Yeah, sorry, but it was you only had to look at the start of the day. Sorry, so I could sit there and it was
right, okay. No, you said the daily. I just sure you wasn't entering on the daily.
No, sorry, I followed all the rules as but I knew that I didn't have to spend my whole day doing it. So it was like whatever it was, 6 a.m. till 10, and I thought, well, I can do that. But it was then the following up with the moving your stop loss. Yeah. So that bit I struggled with. Yeah.
Okay.
So then I started back testing Greystone Daily, and I mean that the logic behind that fits my lifestyle perfectly, because it's that small amount of work, lots of pairs, lots of opportunities as well, because there weren't too many opportunities per pair, but because it had a high amount of pairs. But my back testing is fairly consistent that it's highly profitable for 2010 up to about end of 2015, and then they seem to lose after that. So I need to have a look at that, and whether that's why I pinged you that stuff. I want to work out whether it's me or whether it's just the strategy needs tweaking for it to continue working. I don't know if it was like a Donald Trump and Brexit and all those sorts of things kicked in around 2016. So yeah, I've kind of looked at those. I think I've tested about 5 pairs now.
Right.
So I was probably going to do one more, and I was going to look to something probably less impacted by Brexit. So US Aussie dollar or something along those lines. And if not, kind of look at another strategy, whether it's kind of trend continuation, or again, I need one that really works on the daily that I don't have to sit with. But it's kind of been good starting with a really basic strategy, because it's really got my head into it, and I can actually go through the chart pretty efficiently. And and that's sort of what I realised, that your eye does start to adjust to it, which is quite good.
It's a great starting point to test something like that, because it does get you used to the process of testing.
Yeah, and you didn't have to worry too much about structure and bits like that. So the
No.
I think it was I can't remember which one it is. It's I like swing trade in the trend or something, which is the one where you start having to look for structure. I think that was
Yeah.
one that I'd look at next, because that's looking at kind of historical structure and hitting certain zones and things like that. And I think that again would help me before I got into like anything on the hourlies or anything like that in the future if I did it full time. So I think it's kind of a nice progression of strategy.
Sure. Yeah. So what are you doing at the moment? Are you going to tweak and refine the chore, or are you going to keep trudging through some testing and get some more testing done?
Yeah, so like I said, I'll do the
Or
chore,
both?
but on a non-European pair, just to see if it is
Okay.
anything sort of Brexit related. But what I might start doing is focusing a bit more on some of the ATRs and bits like that, and see if there is some patterns that I can tweak it. Because there's so many strategies out there, if you sort of look, that are around moving averages and things like that. So there's probably some adjustments I could make. So I just need to make sure I've got all the data in there so I can kind of analysis tool.
Okay. And how much time are you devoting to testing at the moment and trading?
So obviously I'm not trading at all. So I'm just doing testing.
I mean, just working on
testing.
your trading in general.
Got it. So I'm just looking. I've got an Excel on the wall with all my my life mapped out.
There you go.
So I'm doing, I think it's about 7 hours a week, and then plus 1 hour for freedom stuff at the moment. But I think that'll swap slightly.
Yeah. Okay. And is there a kind of milestone you want to hit by the end of the year?
Originally, because I started back testing a month or so ago, I would have liked to have one active pair that I could start in the new year on a strategy. So that's still the target. But I just need to work out if that's realistic, because if I can find a pair that works on this strategy, I think it's achievable, because the back testing is actually fairly straightforward. If I have to look at a new strategy and tweaking and customizing that strategy, maybe the new year. If not, I definitely want to be doing it in quarter one.
Yeah. Okay. And what have you gleaned any kind of nuggets or tips or light bulb moments throughout the process of testing and just being in the trading community in general?
I think the biggest thing is just the routine. So getting into the routine of just setting that time up. So that's why I did the Excel on the wall, because it's a bit like when you sort of say, I'll go to the gym at the end of the day, and you don't do it because stuff gets in the way. I think finding that routine, because I've put the routine on the wall and I've tweaked it about 3 times, because any strategy I did, I needed to be able to know I could do. So I found that really important to make sure that, so I'm trying to back test when I could trade to some extent, just to make, so then you can kind of work out that the kids don't run in and all that stuff. And then also, I think I used to look at sort of too much data. And I think that's what you kind of said on one of the things about, if you look at too much stuff, you procrastinate and you don't do anything. So it was
becomes a bit overwhelming, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what I've done is, I went through it fast. I've then gone back and reviewed it. But the things that I've really focused on are the things that will currently impact my strategy. So one of the things that I thought might be worth looking at was whether there's divergence. So I really watched the divergence module. I watched the ATR, the RSI. So I've kind of looked at the modules I wasn't too worried about some of the patterns because that's not relevant to the strategy I'm doing at the moment. So I think making sure that I was then looking at what I really need to know rather than going, oh, maybe if I could add that to a strategy or that to a strategy. So I think I'm trying to keep myself focused, and that's really helping.
Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So is there anything you're struggling with other than what you've emailed me to kind of look over? Is there anything you're actually struggling with?
I think it's just building up my confidence because when I was sending the stuff to you, I was almost expecting you to respond back with like, well, that's ridiculous because you're doing this wrong or something. So I think some of it's just sort of I need to work out how I can kind of seek reassurance that what I'm doing is right and it's just not the outcome that I want it to be rather than I'm implementing it wrong. That makes sense.
Yeah. There will be something there. It will be something there. We just need to go through it a bit finer. We'll take a look at that.
Sounds
And
good.
is it, if there was anyone kind of just learning now, what advice would you give them?
Probably just that thing around time. It just really work out where can you
Have a
commit.
structured routine.
Yeah, and where can you commit to doing it? Because I sat there and I thought a couple of the strategies looked awesome, and then I thought there is no way I will find the time to do it. So I would end up missing so many trades that I would just be frustrated. And I think, yeah, I'm not trading active, but I would have thought if you had 2 or 3 days in a row where you logged in and realised that 2 hours ago you could have made a really good trade, but you've missed it, that will be more disheartening than taking a loss. Because the losses are in the plan. When you back tested, you never missed a trade, unless you didn't see it. But so yeah, I think working out when you can do it, because I think if I find it successful and I can spend more of my day doing it, i.e. what kind of job I'm doing, you can then look at that pattern, but don't look at like what you might want to trade in 2 years' time because you will never be successful.
Exactly. No. Okay. Well, listen, mate. It'd be good to talk again before Christmas, maybe, or just after Christmas, just to see where you got to. But until then, mate, thanks for coming on again, and we'll see you inside the platform.
All right. Have a good day.
Yeah, and you have a good weekend.
Cheers.
Take care, James.